Tannehill and the Miami Dolphins as they take on Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half. But it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. They'll run with a backup. This is Williams. And this defense feeling the encouragement. They stop him at the line of scrimmage on the first play of the afternoon. Off the corner. Where'd he come from? Well, I guess he came off the corner, but really nice play.
I like when you're able to pose a question and answer it at the same time. That's exactly where he came from, but it's not something that you normally see. Most of the time, we're thinking about those guys covering pass catchers. In this case, he was a big factor in the run game. No gain.
That one good for 13 and a Dolphin first down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance. The positioning here is key. As a defensive back, you're taught 99% of the time, make a play on the football. But in this case, making a play on the man was all the difference. That's what forced the incompletion.
And he'll take this up over the 40 to about the 41. It's a gain of about 3, but it's going to leave him with third and still 7 yards to go.
Sometimes your philosophies get challenged at times you don't want them to. They did try to stick to the running game on the first 2 plays.
And now he lost the football. Tannehill loses it. And this belongs to the Vikings. Holding on to the football becoming a little bit of an issue. He had 2 fumbles last week, remember.
I played for a guy that used to talk all the time about creating turbulence in the pocket, making the quarterback jumpy, make him antsy, keep getting after him a little bit, and make sure he thinks about holding on to the ball because you're going after him.
And it's a welcome back to health for last year's #1 pick. This is Dalvin Cook, and that one blown up quickly as he's going to be stopped before he could even get started.
Another scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker, and what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
On the ground, it's Cook. Even with the good footwork, he'll be stopped just inside the 35. 2 yards gets them back to where they started, but now 3rd and 10.
Cameron Wake makes plays like that look simple because I think he plays with excellent leverage. Really does a nice job of being lower than the offensive guys trying to block him and gets underneath them and goes up and down the line of scrimmage to make those types of plays.
And kept him to a short run play there. And the Dolphins rush gets home. Down he goes. Oh, free safety blitz. That can be a gamble, but it proves fruitful there.
Yeah, you're exactly right about the gamble because oftentimes the free safety is the last line of defense against a long pass. And when he comes at the quarterback, he better get home and make the play. Otherwise, a big play could result for the offense.
And a great job on special teams to down it as this will be marked out inside the 5-yard line. Out comes the Dolphin offense now as they get set to take over here. And a fumble last time. Ball security. Talk about it all the time in the National Football League. They've got to be better at it on this drive.
Don't you think that when every team gets together for the first time, I don't care if it's OTAs, mini camps, first day of camp in the regular season, ball security comes up about, what, the second sentence of the coach's address?
And those are so many drills focus on that.
All the time, and they do drills to make it even tougher to simulate game situations. Doesn't always work out, though.
Now on second down, this is Gore. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a third down.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
His first catch of the game, good for 11 and a first down.
Completion was given up, but that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have people around the ball when it's caught, and you don't give up much run after the catch.
Now a first down carry. It's Williams, and he'll get this one up to the 26. It's Everson Griffin who made the tackle.
What's the old expression, 3 yards in a cloud of dust? In this case, it's dust-covered pellets. It's no longer that old grass that we used to play on, right, and chew it up. Now we've got that artificial surface. You see the pellets go up. Still a nice play by the defense.
And they've got it well across midfield down to the 40 before it's all said and done. An excellent pickup of 34 yards.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
They go play action here on first down. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Daniil Hunter in there to get him, and that's sack number 6 for him on the year.
They just gave up a sack there, and if I'm not mistaken, they gave up 4 last week, didn't they?
Yes. And just looking really porous, aren't they?
They really are, and I'm wondering if they're going to have to start thinking about keeping the tight end in, maybe a back, someone to help assist, because right now, their quarterback's been getting hit a lot in the last couple of games. Early down stuff will put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this game, has got to be priority 1.
Here's Tannehill. Got a man open. That's Devontae Parker complete. Oh, and now he bowls him over. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A really good pickup of 28 yards.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
On first down, it's Gore. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there. Give the tackle there to Daniil Hunter. And he got off the end there very quickly to make that play.
Yeah, it was almost like the bullet train, wasn't it? I mean, just zoom. Quick, quick, quick.
The stop for no gain brings up 2nd and 10 from the 20. Here's Tannehill now on second down. It's caught outright, Amendola. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face third down.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you're wanting to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
They'll try and pick up the first with Gore. And he will maneuver his way down to about the 7. He needed 2, he got 1, and that's going to leave him with 4th down at a yard.
Well, they picked up a portion of it, but not all that they needed. Now that leads to a decision on 4th and 1. Let's see what they decide to do.
And Forbath will put this one through, and the Dolphins will jump out to a 3-0 lead. A dozen plays on that drive that ends with the field goal.
Let's go ahead and break out some of the old chestnuts here, right, partner? Keep the ball in front, rally to it, and make the tackle. Right? No big plays given up, no balls over your head. Bend, don't break.
Hold on. Chestnuts?
You like
Come
that
on.
one?
What does that mean, break out? That just because you break chestnuts?
I'm not sure about that, but I'm just going with why they said that. I have no idea.
The Vikings offense now heading out to take over. They punted last time they had it. What steps, Charles, you think they have to take to make sure they don't do that again?
Well, let's just go to the football 101, the trade expression 101. Win first down. Make 5, 6, 7 yards on first down and make it a 2nd and 3, 2nd and manageable. Keep accumulating first downs that way. Keep moving the football. You don't want to get behind the sticks because then the defense has the advantage. I know when I was a kid, I always got real excited when I saw those lateral type runs. But the best backs that made it happen, they put a foot in the ground and just go. That didn't happen there. That play got swallowed up.
He lost 2 there, and it's 3rd down.
Some of these play calls, I think they're a little conservative, but you know me, because it's easy to sit up in this booth, right, and make all the calls and think I'm going to be correct. But I would like to see them open things up, because otherwise this defense is going to gang up on the run and shut them down.
3rd and long for Cousins. Hard throw, incomplete.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. And now it's the punter Weil on as he sends this one away. The Dolphins offense now ready to go back out onto the field. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about 3-point
kicker.
Exactly. You put it through the post. That's going to help him in contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him in contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about that. Super toe.
To throw on 2nd down is Tannehill. Drops it underneath to Gore. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. A gain of 4 on the play, and that'll bring up a 3rd down. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills like a receiver, and you're aware of that before the game even begins. So throughout your practice sessions, you're going to want to be aware of him. Where is he lining up? What can he do? What kind of damage can he do to us downfield? And who can match up with him without weakening our overall defense? You're exactly right. It's a tough task to match up to him.
Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a 1st down and change our momentum?
And the catch is made by Justin Hardy. The drive starting with a 1st down, 11 yards on that pickup.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air. And sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-armed guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
And now a throw on 1st down there, but it's incomplete.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true.
Now the hit comes, and Cousins lost the football. But a Viking was able to corral this one, and Minnesota will keep possession. A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on 3rd and long. To the air again, it's Cousins. Oh, the pressure too great, and he goes down once more. Now the Dolphins are going to halt the action here. It's a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Here's Matt Weil now as he's on to punt for Minnesota. First kick, 47. This one looks good as well. Frank Gore and company trotting back out there as they get set to go again on offense. It's the second quarter. His team has the lead, but I think he's hoping for a little bit more production out of himself.
And we often talk about preaching patience to a runner when things are a little bumpy in the early going. We have to do the same thing with the offensive line. They can't wait to halftime to make the adjustments. They have to do it from series to series. So those surface tablets come into play. Check out what the defense is doing and see if they can find a better way to run it.
So they search for that patience here now. Now Tannehill. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is second and long. Now a handoff for goal. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. And another timeout called by the Vikings now, as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important third down. They stay on the ground this time. It's Williams. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. Now here's a whistle and a timeout. It's called by the receiving team here, as they stop it prior to what will be an important fourth down. Sherrills to return it. A great return there of 22 yards. And the Vikings will take over here first and 10. And now out comes Minnesota. The results for them so far not that great. Well, not good at all. 3 drives, 3 punts.
Yeah, and now what you're doing is you're looking at your play sheet, trying to figure out what you're going against defensively. I wonder, are they showing them something they haven't seen or anticipated in practice, and maybe that's throwing them off? Or do they just have to go to a different play calling section and try and run some offense that way?
Cousins and the Vikings with a first and 10. On first and 10, Cousins over the middle, complete. It's caught. They'll get this one down near the 20-yard line, just shy of the 20. A gain of 39 that time.
So what's the old expression that quarterbacks like to use when they decide to throw the football? I'm looking for either a touchdown or a check down. And he took the check down on that play, and it worked almost to perfection.
This will be caught inside the 10. It's a really nice 15-yard pickup, and now it's first and goal. And now they come up and spike it to stop the clock. They'll try again here from the 7 on second and goal. They'll throw again. Cousins. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. A great play there with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Vikings are able to strike for 6.
And while that touchdown does not give them an insurmountable lead, it's still a lead, and that always feels good to a team.
They'd love to take that into the lockers, but a little time left on that clock, so some work to do.
I like that. I like how you're guarding against a letdown there.
Hey, looking forward.
Coaching them up from right up here in the booth.
And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee, and they'll bring the football out to the 25. Then the Dolphins getting set to go here. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
They begin the drive with Williams. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down.
Well, you had to punt on your first drive, and on the first play of the second drive, you end up going backwards. I would dare say they need something good to happen right here, right now.
First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's second and 12. On second down, Williams. And this one goes nowhere. Losing yardage back at the 22. So we've reached halftime here in Minnesota. An abbreviated halftime show as we get rolling to quarter 3. The Vikings have to like their position. They've got the lead. They get this football as well as we are back and underway for the second half. And a nice job there as he gets this one up just shy of the 35-yard line at the 34. Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that, because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about, change things up a little bit. Change your tendencies. Try and hit them a little bit more with some things they didn't see in the first half.
Let's see if they do just that.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. It'll be a loss of a yard, and all of a sudden here it's third down. To say they've kept him under wraps running the football, that's an understatement. He's been completely neutralized.
Yeah, they've essentially taken him out of the game, haven't they? And you know all the teams say, we're not going to let him beat us. Well, that's exactly what's happened here. They've lived up to that.
Oh, incomplete. Nearly the pick they needed. They would have loved one there, but at least it does get them to fourth down.
Oh, man, that was close. The opportunity to change momentum, big play, right in his hands, unable to come down with it.
A sigh of relief, no doubt, on offense that fell harmlessly to the ground. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the Dolphins' drive will start deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. Tannehill and the Dolphins break the huddle. Come up 1st and 10 at their own 14-yard line. Off play action, Tannehill. And now he lost the football. Tannehill loses it. And this belongs to the Vikings. So they need to determine if that knee was down before the ball was caught.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
And they need to work to at least get some of this yardage back after the sack. 2nd and 19.
All right, here we go. Green, 39.
They'll try to get this running game going with Williams. And they see right through that defensively as he'll be hit and taken down to the backfield.
So statistically, both of these offenses having a rough time getting a running game going. But, boy, what a nice play there defensively.
Tackling him behind the line, but you're right. You look at the numbers. Neither side looks on track in the ground game. And he tries to power forward, but he will not get back to the line of scrimmage.
I'm not sure how much I really love that call. It almost seems like a little bit of a give up there. But maybe what they were thinking is, we've got a chance to pop one. They think we're just going to give up here, hand it to the big man, and maybe he can get through. Sometimes you live with courage and play calling, and maybe we don't give enough credit.
21 yards. Well done on the return. And the Vikings, they'll be set up well as they take over in great field position. 1st and 10. And now out comes Minnesota. They were forced to punt last time, and I doubt sincerely that they'll have to punt here because they're gifted with terrific field position.
I don't even want to think about the idea that they would end up punting starting with this type of field position. Neither do they. Great starting spot, great opportunity to run your full playbook. They want to take a shot here, they can go ahead and do it.
Hey, Clifford.
Cousins now to throw on 1st down. Looking middle, and it's incomplete. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. Throwing again, Cousins on 2nd and 10. Over the middle, he finds Henderson, complete. And he'll go down shy of the 40 at the 41. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
And he gets it to the 34, good enough for the 1st. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks.
And that one was a lot of fun right there because that was the game within the game. 3rd and short, blitz was on. What's the key for the quarterback?
And down he goes. They sack him back right around the 41-yard line.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Don't need it all back at once, but you figure they're going to need something here. 17 yards to go on second down. From the shotgun, it's Cousins. And the pressure gets to him again.
We are seeing two really confident defenses imposing their will on these offenses in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, going toe for toe. Just curious if one of these offenses can wake up a little bit.
Is there any way they can find something that can pop, something big to knock them back on their heels?
Cousins from the gun on third. And Cook has it left side. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. An incredible play there. They do get big yardage, but they're still stopped a yard or two short, and it's fourth down.
Boy, they had a lot of real estate to make up there, but what a big-time play for them. Nice completion, excellent gain. Now they're in fourth and manageable.
Just a little short, though, of that marker. Carlson able to put this one through. And they push the lead up to a touchdown now at 10-3. So that's a 7-play drive that ultimately stalls out there at the end.
And things were a little leaky in the beginning on that drive, weren't they? But how about the front seven? As they got closer to the goal line, things stiffened a little bit, forced the field goal.
After the made field goal, Carlson now sets up to kick this away. That's fielded in the end zone. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. And after getting tackled, he's still down and looking very slow to get up. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back.
Hurry up, here we go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
The first throw for the backup Osweiler. Now the ball's out. Osweiler lost it. But I think if Dolphin was able to fall on it, yes, they'll keep possession here.
On plays like this, when the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back. Because this is the quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
Now a shot taken on third down, but it's going to wind up incomplete.
We've seen these defenses make enough opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around, making plays on the ball, and we see yet another errant throw as a result.
Here's Sherrills. Good blocking there, nearly sprung him. As it is, it'll go as a 19-yard return. And out will come the offense as they take over. And now out comes Minnesota. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right? Oh, and a bad throw there. It's intercepted. Picked up by Xavier Howard. And he will bring it back. It's a pick-6 and a Dolphins touchdown.
Now, that was a beautiful play. A pick-6. How would you punctuate something like that, partner?
You mean with an exclamation mark?
Exclamation mark, a big word. What would you do with that?
Ampersand?
I like it.
Forbath able to convert the extra point, and we are even at 10 apiece. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick-6. That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll wind up about 4 yards shy of where he would have been if he had taken a knee, as they'll start at the 21-yard line. And now out comes Minnesota. Cousins and the Vikings with a 1st and 10. Back to it after the pick six. Cousins, he's going to flip that out to the flat. It's complete. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. A gain of 11 to kick off the drive, and it's a quick 1st down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
Cousins now a perfect 8 for 8 to start the second half. Not bad. 1st and 10. From the gun, here's Cousins. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Cook. 17 more yards on that one as they keep the drive rolling. That opening drive rhythm continues right into play number 3.
Whatever they decided that they wanted to run before the game, it's working pretty well for them right now. Moving the ball downfield at a nice rate. And guess what? I think the chain crew might have to get a little oxygen over there. They have to keep moving downfield with 1st downs on each play.
1st down, here's the run with Cook. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. On the stop, Stephon Anthony with a tackle. Another carry, same story. 4th quarter, and he is in red numbers right now with a running game.
Hard to believe because you figure at some point you break off a run. But in this case, what we're seeing is just pure domination by the defense. I think it started with the scouting report. They got into what they were doing offensively, into their mindset, and now they're beating them to the punch on every snap.
And that is incomplete. Carlos Henderson, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd down.
My man's getting a little loose with the football there, right? Interception before, almost had one here. He's got to start taking better care of it.
Yeah, really should have been back-to-back drives with interceptions. He's lucky there. On 3rd down, Cousins. And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field and covered up essentially every blade of grass. That allowed them to disrupt the play.
Tie game, 4th quarter, and they're going for this thing on 4th down. Working out of the gun, Cousins. And that is incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Dolphins defense is able to hold. Boy, an incredibly aggressive move to go for it there. Game tied 4th quarter. You got to be surprised.
I am, and I know that we're in a new era of football where we look at the analytics sometimes, and a lot of the time the analytics tell you to go for it, right? But do the analytics take into account game situation, where we are, all those things? In this situation, I thought it was an incredibly aggressive play.
It didn't work out, and again, tie game 4th quarter makes this thing a little bit more interesting.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Throwing, Osweiler, complete. This is Albert Wilson. And he'll be brought down right at the 45-yard line. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for 3rd down.
Some think that teams really won't throw a slant route unless you have a receiver that has a lot of stature to him. But sometimes the little guys, they get lost in there. People can't really locate them, and they run that quick cut on the slant, and oftentimes they can turn it into big plays.
A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete. And incomplete. He had nowhere to throw, so he just tossed it away. But that brings up 4th. Here's Matt Hawk now. He's been terrific so far. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And a little too much mustard on that one. It hits a couple yards into the end zone. A missed opportunity there maybe to pin him back. And the Vikings now heading onto the field. They had a great drive going last time. They were moving the ball, and then all of a sudden it just stalled out. So we'll see what they can do here, Charles.
And it's always easy to second guess when you don't get it on a 4th down try. but they had to like the feeling that they had going on offense. They want to continue to see if they can capture that again on this drive and maybe get in the same position.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, like I said, they were moving the football. It's not like they went 4 and out, so I don't think it's a deal where the offense doesn't have confidence.
No, I agree with you totally on that one. If anything, they may have gained more confidence. Okay, they stopped us once. That's all right. Let's keep moving it. Make them do it again.
5 yards on the catch there. Brings up second down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
Second down, Cousins. Over the middle, complete. It's King. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down. Second and 5 after the 5-yard completion on first down. Time for a break. We'll come back and see how it all shakes out after this. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. They've got a second down now as they search for a score to break this tie. Here's Cousins. Got his man complete over the middle. It's King. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. Now Cousins. He'll find Henderson there. It's complete. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield at the 49-yard line. A gain of 6 there on first.
Short gain last 2 plays. Who do you think's excited about that?
Absolutely. This defense, they're saying go right ahead with those. 6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's second and 4. Cousins to throw. Oh, he got position on him, and he pulls it in. Now the Dolphins are going to take another timeout here, as the clock will stop with 1:06 left to go in the game. Cousins going to come up on a 1st and 10, and he's hit on all 6 of his throws on this drive. They'll run it now out of the gun. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. And now we're going to get a timeout here called by the defense, as they get the stoppage with just over a minute to go in the game. A rare misstep on that last play because the drive has been strong, but now it's 2nd and 12. They run it for the first time with a backup Murray. And he'll work his way inside the 30 now to the 28. And he's able to get more than half of what they needed. That brings up a 3rd and 5.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on 3rd down.
On 3rd down, Murray. And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. It's a pickup of 4, but they're still a yard short here with 4th down forthcoming.
You know, we might start getting some props here in the booth. You know, that one that says the D and then the fence that you put up next to it? How about that? They brought out the jumbo package and still couldn't move them off the line of scrimmage enough to pick up that 1st down.
Impressive. They were ready defensively for that jumbo set. So we're back in the offense getting set following the call of that timeout. What pressure as this thing all rests on the foot of Daniel Carlson. 2 seconds on the clock. This for the win. And the kick is good. The young rookie coming through like a 10-year vet. And it'll be a fun time in the Twin Cities tonight. The Vikings win it. And, Charles, I think when the schedule comes out, all teams, no matter where they're predicted to finish, talk about protecting your home turf. They were able to do that here in this one.
Similar to a tennis match, right? Not letting them break your serve. That way you hold on to it. They got it done, and they feel very good about that victory.
So for the Vikings, they get back to 500 now as the win moves them to 7-7. And they will hit the road next week to take on the Detroit Lions. Meanwhile, for Miami, their slim playoff hopes are gone now as they fall